Good evening, Riverglades families. Thank you to all who are tuning in, as well as any of the families who submitted questions to our second semester Return to School Q and A. So I have a list of questions that I'm going to try and answer. Some of them, unfortunately, we don't have the answers to until we get our data from the survey. But I'll go ahead and hopefully give you some information that will help you make the decision that's best for your family. Parents can choose whether they want their child to return to in-campus or on-campus school learning or remain at home for an e-learning model. Students will receive instruction if they continue with their e-learning model from home. The second semester survey will be for the remainder of the school year. There are no plans at this time for the 21-22 school year. Based on the governor's executive order, parents can choose, and we will work to meet all requests. However, please keep in mind that when flipping back and forth, that makes challenging times for planning. Please also keep in mind that if you change your mind to come back to school, that would require us to rearrange classrooms, possibly reduce the distancing even more, and all of that takes time. So please, when you're making your decision, choose the best option at this time for your family. Right now, there are two options. One is to send your child to school knowing that CDC guidelines may need to be reduced to accommodate as many students that want to return. I can tell you right now that we have classes at Riverglades that some of them are already maxed out on capacity, so we would need to reduce to 6 feet or less than 6 feet. Our cafeteria is also maxed out, as well as some of our special classes. Option two is to stay online e-learning with the possibility of a teacher change. Please keep in mind there may be no changes needed. I just need to wait and see what the data is to determine. If we need to do a class change and your child's teacher will change, we will call you and inform you of that and give you an opportunity to change your decision based on that information. So at this time, just please choose what's best for your family. On the last survey, we had 300 families that did not complete the survey. That automatically defaulted them to at-home learning. This survey requires everyone to answer. So I am begging you to please, please, please go onto your child's Clever and sign in to complete the survey. Also keep in mind, if you get an error message, check to make sure that you're not signed into another Outlook account. You can only be signed into one Outlook account on the computer at a time. If we do not get a large response or everyone respond to the survey, that will take a lot of manpower from office staff, support staff to call and get in contact with every family member. So it is urgent that you please complete this survey by December 21st. All students that want to return will be accepted. A start date cannot be given at this time. If we have to call and get surveys, that's going to take longer for the start to happen. We will try to get students back into the building as soon as possible. Start dates will be communicated as soon as they are finalized. We may be able to phase in by grade level. So if one grade level, let's say second grade, everyone at that grade level has completed the survey, we might be able to start with that grade level, bringing them back first. Everything will stay status quo, no changes. If your children are currently on school, they will remain on school. And if your children are currently e-learning from home, they will stay that way until you are contacted about a change with a date. So I cannot give an official start date because it may vary. School for online learners and in person will be the same. The school hours are 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. We will be trying to move forward to a more normal classroom environment for our on-campus learners, but there will be restrictions and we will have to work through them as we plan. Masks are required and must be worn at all times except when students are eating or if they are outside and socially distanced. There is a variety of data being evaluated to see if your child is being successful with online learning. Once the data is retrieved, you will get a call, or you may get a call from one of our amazing support staff members to discuss concerns and the best option for your child. These calls will not take place until January after the survey has closed. Riverglades students will remain with Riverglades teachers. The district works with the Department of Health and Coordinated Student Health Services. So we do not have a return date for when things will go back to normal prior to COVID. We're just listening to CDC guidelines and waiting for that direction. At this time, there are no activities planned for the transition of our fifth graders into middle school. However, just like me, middle school principals are making plans and decisions based on the information that they currently have. For example, we are currently planning a virtual kindergarten open house. And once those dates are finalized, it'll all be shared. So I'm sure the middle school are doing the same and will share that information with us as it becomes finalized. I also received many questions about change of classroom teachers. Okay. We may have teachers taking leaves or returning from leaves that may affect some of the class placements. So I cannot guarantee that anyone's teacher may or may not change. I don't have a crystal ball to determine what the future holds, but I will be looking at all the data once the survey is completed and make decisions at that time. Again, if there are any class changes that will need to be made, you will get a phone call and given it an opportunity to change your decision. The reason for the possibility of a teacher change is if we try to do classes that are based on all in-school learners and then some whole classes that would focus on all of our e-learners. That's the reason why there might be some teacher changes. Again, as a principal, I will be looking into a variety of data when determining class scheduling for the second semester. Again, if there are any changes, you will be notified to your if there'll be any changes to your child's schedule, we will notify you prior to making that decision. Again, I'm begging, please go on and fill out that survey. We really need that data. I also received some questions about laptops. The first thing, again, if you're getting an error message, make sure you are closed out on any personal or second laptop for your Outlook account. Parents will need to decide if they want to send the laptop back and forth. When we go back to in-school or on-campus learning, we still use computers. We always have. So students will need to have their laptops at school to participate in things like iReady. If you have a computer at home that your child can use, that you don't need it to go back and forth, then that's fine. But we still have to think about if classes are quarantined or if your child is quarantined. We still have to have ways to keep in contact and make sure your child is not missing any education at that time. So all students may keep the laptops at school if they're going to be on campus, as long as they have some alternative way when they are at home. So next we had some safety questions. The state of Florida does not have any travel restrictions for people traveling on planes or out of state. Therefore, there is no mandate or requirement for quarantining after the winter break. So please be wise and be safe. Schools are not taking temperatures because unfortunately fevers can be masked. There are many other COVID symptoms besides fevers. Therefore, the district and the board did not add a policy for temperature taking. The biggest change to the safety protocol would be social distancing guidelines. They may need to be reduced under 6 feet. When necessary, the distance will be determined by the results of the survey. In general, students, other additional safeties, we don't use our water fountains. Instead, we encourage students to bring bottled water or reusable bottles, and we have water bottle fillers. We have hand sanitizing stations throughout the campus at high frequency areas. Every classroom has additional masks, sanitizers, sanitizing wipes that are all used in the classroom as well. Again, We will not, and there are a lot of questions on this. That's why I keep repeating. We may not be able to maintain those CDC guidelines, especially in some of those areas, like I mentioned, cafeteria and special classes. Students cannot eat in their classrooms because teachers, by contract, get 30 minutes of an uninterrupted break. So that is their time to have their lunch when the students are in the cafeteria. Next area of questions had to do with special programs. If your child is in a special program, whether it's our ASD cluster, a gifted class, a dual language class, their programs will not change. They will remain in the same program. If your child is gifted and if they had to be assigned to a different teacher, the teacher then would be gifted certified. One of the questions that I was asked is whether I thought students should be back in school. Unfortunately, that's not an easy answer or a yes or no answer. Every family has their own situation, their own circumstances that they need to decide. You need to make the decision that is best for your family at this time. I know it's a difficult decision, and I know I don't have all the answers to give you, but right now I'm just going to encourage you to make the decision that is best for your family. And again, if we need to do any changes, we will contact you directly regarding any teacher changes. I wish you luck while you're taking this survey, and I certainly wish you a happy and healthy holiday. Please be safe, and I look forward to seeing the return in January. Thank you.